Mr. Joe, this last Sunday I mentioned how I love summer reading lists, and so I thought this summer I would make a few recommendations of my own. And I mentioned this a little bit on Sunday, but I've picked a few different books from a few different kind of genres. Some books you can read as a family, some books that you'll read a little bit slower. The first book I recommended this Sunday was The Pilgrim's Progress. I know when I was assigned to read this, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, old stuff, hard to read. Well, I could only read about 3 or 4 pages a day because it is difficult, but it ends up being an awesome book. I still draw from that, thinking of images from that book over and over and over. Specifically, I love the time where the main character is caught in the dungeon of a giant named Despair. And so I often think of what it feels like to be caught in the dungeon of giant despair. If you can also get an abridged copy, maybe to read with kids, something that's for new readers or for younger kids. That would be a cool thing to do as a family. We love to read books aloud, so that's a good fit. The second book is A Hero for Humanity. It's the biography of William Wilberforce. I highly recommend that. You also can find some kids' biographies of William Wilberforce. He's one of my heroes. I love stories of history, and he was one of the leading politicians in England that helped end the slave trade. But he also founded the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, helped with prison reform, and he was a believer, which motivated him to seek change in his society, seek the improvement for other people. So anyway, that's really cool. Read a biography with your kids. That's a great fit. A novel, a lot of us love to read novels in the summer. I love to read them all the time. Walking Across Egypt is maybe the most perfect plot I've ever heard. It's by Clyde Edgerton, and it is about a woman who, a little old lady who goes to her church and hears that whoever loves the least of these loves me. Whatever you do to the least of these, you do unto me. So she starts looking for some person to love. It's one of the least, what she calls the least of these. She's looking for somebody to love unconditionally like Jesus. At the same time, there's a teenager that escapes from juvenile prison, and he's looking for a little old lady to take advantage of. And so these two people meet, and it's funny, it's lighthearted, it's a quick read, but it's really interesting to have these two characters, each seeking the other one and being at cross purposes. So I love that book. And then a book to read with your kids. Our family loves Andrew Peterson's On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. You can see this book has been loved a ton. We've read it aloud. Emma and I read it aloud. We've read it aloud to the kids. The kids, Ellie has started reading it over and over and over. It's just a really fun kind of adventure, fantasy, epic story. We love that series. And so I wanted to recommend that to you. Read that aloud to your kids. It's better read aloud than it is read silently, just because there are word plays and puns and different things that you don't hear or you don't pick up unless you hear it. So anyway, those are my 4 recommendations. Pilgrim's Progress, a biography of William Wilberforce, Walking Across Egypt, and On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. I hope you pick up one or more of those books and enjoy that this summer. Thanks.